I really do try my best to be nice to these niggas, but I can't. I really can't.
Before we get into this conversation, let me ask you something really quick. Would you date a broke man? Not a man between opportunities, not a man who's rebuilding after losing everything, not a man who's temporarily struggling but clearly grinding to get back on his feet. I mean a man who's just broke. No plan, no direction, no ambition. And if your answer is no, does that make you shallow? Because according to some people on the internet, women are apparently tripping for saying they don't want to date a broke guy. So today we're going to talk about it because this conversation keeps coming up again and again and it gets heated every single time. Some people say women are too materialistic. Others say women are just being realistic. And honestly, the truth is a lot more layered than people want to admit.
I just got back from a date with someone I met on Hinge. Let's call him Alan because that's his fucking name. One thing I liked about Alan is that he didn't waste too much time. We talked for like a day and a half and he was like, hey, I want to go out. Let's go on a date. And I was like, all right, perfect. I love it. We ended up going to Crazy Sushi in Wesley Chapel. And if you know me in real life or you watch my videos, I love sushi. I talk about sushi often. Every time I go out to eat, I go out for sushi. And everything was fine until Alan saw the fucking menu. At Crazy Sushi, you have the option to do an all-you-can-eat buffet, which is $36 per person. When the server gave us the menu, Alan was like, is this $36 for both of us? It's per person. He was like, I'm on a budget right now. I can't afford much, and I'm trying to save money. You asked me to go out. He says, is this the only option? I said, when the server comes, ask him what else you can do. The server comes and says you can do a la carte, which means you're just paying for the roll. You're paying per roll. The server gives us the a la carte menu and he was like, yeah, these prices are way much better. Are you okay with doing this? I said, no. I said, no, when I go out to eat, I order what I want, I buy what I want, and I'm not gonna not get all you can eat sushi when I'm at a sushi place. I love sushi. I say, we're gonna order separately. I want the all you can eat, and he's gonna do the a la carte. We go through the menu. I place my order. He places his order, and he says, I'm sorry, like, I'm on a budget right now. Are you okay with paying for your own food? I said, that's fine. The only reason I said that's fine is because I'm not gonna not get what the fuck I want at one of my favorite sushi places. He ends up ordering two things. I don't know how much it cost, but he also ordered a Diet Coke. Or is it Pepsi? It don't matter. He ordered a soda. The server did not bring him his soda. The server brings us our sushi, but I think he forgot about his Coke. And Alan's like, I'm gonna wait to eat because I can't eat without drinking. So he's just sitting there the entire time with no drink and not eating his food. And I'm about to order a second roll. He's like, I think he forgot about me. Should I wave him down? I said, do what you have to do to get your drink. Like, you're a man. Why do I need to tell you to get the fuck up? He starts going like this at the table. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Not even like waving his hands in the air so the server could see him. He's like, hello, hello. And I'm like mortified because what the fuck is happening? The server comes and he's like, you forgot my drink, brother. Like, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, gives him his drink. Then Alan has the audacity to say, can I have some melted butter? The server says, butter? He was like, yeah, can I have some butter to dip my sushi in? Who eats butter with sushi? Who does? That's a legitimate question. I did not know people eat melted butter with sushi. The server goes, we don't have butter here. People typically use the soy sauce or the spicy mayo. Anywho, we're having basic conversation. I already know I'm not seeing you again, but I'm about to eat my sushi and order more sushi to go. And he looks drowsy, very tired, and he keeps saying, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. Anyways, he goes to the bathroom, and then I ended up ordering pad thai to go and two more sushi rolls to go home with because it's all you can eat for $36. I'm gonna get my money's worth. He was in the bathroom, the server brought my pad thai, and when he comes to the table, he says, I thought you were done. Why are you rushing me? I said, I am done. He said, oh, I thought your food was going to be in a box. I said, I'm about to ask for a box. Why are you rushing me? He's like, it's just been a really long day. I said, we didn't have to hang out today if you're so tired. He was like, well, I just wanted to see you. Then shut the fuck up. Why are you complaining? I didn't have my card with me, so I go to the booth to pay. I go, can you hold my sushi for me? He's like, of course I can. That's the least you can fucking do. I pay for my food, grab my sushi. He goes, can I walk you to your car? I said, my car is literally like right out the door. Like, you don't have to walk me. He goes, but I want to. He walks me to my car. He opens my door, put my sushi in the car, put myself in the car, skirt, Karika's going home. I get home. This nigga had the audacity to text me to tell me it's not gonna work out and he doesn't think we should continue seeing each other. So I'm gonna show you my graceful response. People tell me that I'm Buttercup out of the Powerpuff Girls, that I'm a Sour Patch Kid because I'm sweet and sour, that I'm mean, because who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? And I have my leftover pad thai that I'm gonna eat while I watch Housewives. Also forgot to mention that he's in his 30s, renting a room from some 66-year-old lady that his mom found for him. He works at Jess Pizza a few hours a week and does freelance on the side. Do I think me not wanting kids was a non-negotiable for him? Yes, but I also think it kind of intimidated him because I was like, I like to spend. I shop, I go to Sephora, I go to Ulta, I have lots of things. And that's just not a lifestyle he can clearly keep up with, or maybe he just doesn't want to, but babes, this not gonna work out. When he told me he works at Jets Pizza, I was like, I don't really like Jets Pizza. He says, why? Because it's expensive. You clearly think everything is expensive.
Start with the question itself. Would you date a broke man? Now, before anybody gets emotional, let's define something. Being broke and being poor are not the same thing. Someone can literally be financially struggling, but still be hardworking, disciplined, and focused. Someone can be starting from the bottom, but clearly moving somewhere. But then there's the other category. A guy who has no plan, no drive, no sense of responsibility, and expects the woman to just accept that. That's where the debate usually begins. Because many women say they won't date a man who's not able to financially stand on his own feet. And the moment a woman says that, the internet explodes. They call her a gold digger, they say she only cares about money, and that women are the reason relationships are failing these days. But let's slow down for a second, because historically, relationships have always had an economic component. For centuries, men were expected to be providers, not because women were greedy, but because society was structured that way. Women couldn't open bank accounts. Women couldn't own property in many places, and they had limited work opportunities. So a man's ability to provide wasn't just attractive, it was actually necessary for survival. Now fast forward to today, women work, women build careers, and they make their own money. But interestingly, the expectation that men should still provide financially never really disappeared. And that's where the tension comes in. Because now, we live in a world where many men want traditional benefits from a woman, without the traditional responsibilities. They want the loyalty, the support, the respect, but they get uncomfortable when the conversation turns to financial stability. And here's the thing. Most women are not saying a man has to be rich. All they're saying is he needs to be responsible. Responsible with money, responsible with life, and responsible with their future. There's a huge difference between dating a man who's temporarily broke but building, and dating a man who's comfortable, being broke. One is a season, the other is a lifestyle. And many women have learned the hard way what happens when you ignore the difference. You start off helping him, you pay for a few things, you tell yourself, this is temporary. Then months pass, years, and you realize you become the financial backbone of the relationship. And sometimes, instead of appreciation, you get resentment. Now, again, not every man is like that, and not every woman is innocent in a relationship either. But the reality is, financial stress is one of the biggest reasons couples fight and break up. Finances reveal a lot about the person: discipline, planning, responsibility, priorities. A man doesn't necessarily have to be wealthy to show these qualities, but if he has none of them, that's when women start asking serious questions. And let's be honest for a moment. Men also have preferences when dating. They say they want peace, femininity, support. They say they want a woman who can take care of herself. Those are standards too. So why is it that when men have standards, it's called preference, but when women have standards, it's called entitlement? That's something people rarely want to address. Now let's talk about the other side of this conversation. Because sometimes women hear broke and automatically assume worthless. And that's also a mistake. A man can be broke today and successful tomorrow. Every successful person started somewhere. Some of the most driven people in the world right now had seasons where they had absolutely nothing. So judging somebody purely based on their bank account can also be pretty short-sighted. The real question shouldn't be, is he broke? It should be, what is he becoming? Does he have discipline? Does he work hard? Does he take responsibility for his life? Does he have vision? Because if those things are present, the money will eventually follow. But if those things are missing, even if he suddenly gets the money, the problems will usually remain. And here's another uncomfortable truth. Some women are not afraid of a man being broke. They're afraid of being stuck with someone who refuses to grow. That's a very different fear. A relationship should feel like two people are building something together, not one person carrying the entire load while the other person sails through life. Now, some people watching this might say, but love shouldn't be about money. And that sounds beautiful, honestly. But in reality, money affects everything. Where you live, how you live, your stress levels, your children's opportunities, your quality of life. Ignoring that reality doesn't make somebody romantic. It makes them naive. So, are women tripping for saying they don't want to date a broke man? Not necessarily. But the conversation shouldn't just be about money. It should be about mindset. Because a man with ambition, discipline, and a vision can temporarily be broke and still be incredibly attractive. But a man with no direction, no effort, no responsibility, that's not about money anymore. That's about character. And character is something both men and women should be paying attention to when choosing a partner. So maybe the question isn't, would you date a broke man? Maybe the better question is, would you build with someone who's truly trying to become better? Because that's a completely different conversation. But I'm curious what you think. Would you date a broke man? Or do you think women are actually tripping on this one? Let me know down in the comment section below. And while you guys are down there, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. And I'll see you in the next one.